August has rolled around so quickly and school is going to be starting this next month, and so I have got to get that planned in my planner so I can put all of our back to school dates in there. So join me today as I do my August plan with me in my Laurel Denise planners. I have the Luna and the Rose and the Joe. Hi, my name is Allison and I love planners, routines, and systems, especially ones that make things simple. If that sounds like something you're interested in, stick around. And if you find anything in this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up because it helps more than you know. Summer break went by so quickly this year. I just cannot believe it. But there is still a few weeks left, so I intend to enjoy them, but I do need to start setting up already for August so that I can get things in there and kind of wrap my head around what my schedule is going to be looking like for the next month. I do use multiple planners. I am currently using a Luna and then a Rose for my goal planner, and then I use the Joe for my family for their kind of command center that I keep in the kitchen. I'm going to start out with planning in my Rose goal planner. That's just kind of the order that I like to plan it in every month. And so the one thing though is, with it being summer, as you can see, I did a terrible job of actually doing anything in my Rose. I'm off of my routines. I didn't get in here and I really haven't done much. So here's to hoping that having a routine in August with school starting back up will help me actually get back into that routine and doing the things that I need to do. For this month, the stickers that I chose were these blue and pink ones, and to make it look even a little bit more summery, I have these beach stickers, which I think are going to look so nice with the blues and kind of the pinks. And then I also have this older sticker pack from a while back that has the sand color and the birds, and then I have the stickers to match that. So I'm going to kind of be using a combination of all of those to do my planner. I always like to start out with my big banner sticker just to get me started. It's the easiest way, I think, to do it, and I always have the hardest time just lining this one up because it's big and I just want to make sure it gets straight. But if you kind of start on the far side and then just lightly press it down, around this box can be a little bit tricky, so I like to be gentle there. Oh, I got a little wrinkle. Let's see if I can't get that out. There we go. Perfect. Oh, that's so pretty. Next, I put on my day of the week headers. And those can just go across there like that. Making sure to try and not leave big gaps. Next, I like to put the colorful date stickers on there so that it just kind of sticks out which are the days of this month versus the last month. Now that that's done, let's decorate the goals side. I have not been using these daily habit trackers down here, so I just cover it up with this other big banner sticker and put it in the center there. Maybe. Go on straight, please. Okay, let's see. We can work that little bubble out. Sometimes things can be a little, oh, that's not gonna come up. Okay, well, we're just gonna, oh, good, work it out. It's almost like trying to put a screen protector on a phone. It's so hard to not get any bubbles, but maybe you can just work it out. Okay, now I divide it into two sections for monthly goals and for weekly goals, and I have a lot more monthly goals. So I'm going to put this weekly divider right here, and then I will put the monthly one up here. There we go. And I also have 4 categories that I use. I have been making a priority this year my family goals, and then I also have financial goals that I'm working on. Don't we all? And also some home goals in trying to get my home how I want it to be. And lastly, I also have my health goals. So let me grab a pen and write that in there. Ooh, but I do need to kind of label it there. Let's take this box and cut it in half. I like layering stickers a bit. Gives it a little bit more pizzazz, I think, than just doing it plain. There we go. And here. And we're going to put on this label there. And this label, I'm going to come down just a little bit, I think, on purpose. All right. Isn't that so simple in how quickly it comes together, and it looks so different from just a plain to just a couple of minutes, and it really looks nice. Now it's time to actually plan out my goals. I've showed before how I fill in my goals, but I never have showed you how I actually keep track of them all in the Rose Planner. And so I have bought the goal setting pack that's inserts, and so these are just extra pages that pop in, and I used a hybrid approach. I've done Cultivate What Matters in the past, and so I kind of went through some of that prep work to break down what the top goals that I was going to be focusing on. And then I took the goal pack and wrote them down. I also put under the tasks whether they're big dreams, finish lines, or habits of things that need to go with each of the different goals. And so once I had figured out whether they were finish lines or habits, then I took this goal planning and I wrote them all in little Post-its and tried to spread them out throughout the year so that I wasn't doing all of it in January, but put things where they need to go. And then from when I'm filling out my monthly one, that's where I pull all of the little Post-its for it, is from there. And on the back of it, I also have this one where I have put some other things that are just weekly or monthly ones that I on a more continuous basis, and wrote where I want to do those and whether it's a weekly or a month, and that I also pull from to put onto my goals page here. So that is a quick look at how I actually do my goal planning instead of just writing it down. But for this month, one of the things I want to work on for my family is back to school dates for the kids. We have started a tradition where every year I take each of the children individually to a date day of their choice. And they have chosen different things in the past, whether it's going to an activity or hanging out, doing all sorts of things, but it's just a chance for us to one-on-one get to do something together, and they really enjoy it. So I need to make sure I get those done now that school is starting up. Under finances, I'm gonna have to look at that long list a little bit more. I didn't have a ton, that I had scheduled for August, because back to school is so crazy and so stressful for me that I really try not to put a lot of monthly or big projects that I want to do in this month, because I know they just won't get done. But I did want to make sure that I prepped my freezer meals. Each year before school starts, I have a big freezer cooking day, or sometimes even two, and put in the freezer like 10, 20 different frozen meals so that I can pull from them when school is started, and I can just pop them in the freezer or the crock pot, and that is so helpful. So I need to make sure I do that. And then I had here also a seasonal bucket list of joy. And I'm going to have to look back at my different things, because I actually don't remember what that is supposed to be and what I'm supposed to fill out for that. But I'm sure somewhere in that goal planning, I have it written out. And then for weekly, I am going to be pulling from that long list here that has any of the ones that have a W, and I will write those in there. But that is basically how I do my rose planner for my goals for the month. On this side, I try and write a little sentence per day of just something that happened, just kind of little memory keeping. This planner here is the Joe, and I use it for our Family Command Center planner. I keep it propped up like this. It props up on the kitchen table, and so everybody can see what is going on in the month. This planner doesn't have a specific banner set, so I'm just going to use these ones that are from a different size planner. And let's just go like this much right here, I think. And then we'll just trim the edge. Make sure when you do stuff like this, when you're trimming the edge, keep all the little bits, oops, and now I ripped that one, but keep your little bits and pieces, because you don't know where you might just need a little bit of a decorative punch on something. I don't do a ton of decorating on this one, since it just sits on the counter and the kids are not that impressed by major decorating, but I do want to divide out the weekdays from the weekends. That's really important to have done. Whoops, especially for the kids, since this is a Monday start, it helps them pay attention to the differences, since they're used to a Sunday start calendar. But I wanted it to line up with all of mine, so that's what they have now, is a Monday start. For the weeks, the short little weeks up here, I am just going to use a highlighter. If I can find my little ruler. Here it is. I'm just going to highlight the division instead of trying to put a little sticker on all of them. All right, perfect. Maybe make this one just a little bit wider. The other thing that I do on this is I make a line that divides out the bottom two boxes, because I write the meals for the week here so that the kids can see it, which helps somewhat, slightly, with the whole what's for dinner, when are we having. The other thing is I've been starting to make them help me cook dinner. When I say help, I mean it's their nights to cook. And so if I have the meal plan here and their days, which day it is, that also is a little visual reminder to them that it's their nights to make dinner. Whoops, didn't get this one very dark. There we go. Okay. I already have on here the first day of school, and the second day of school is a half day. So those are big days for everybody, but let's kind of put a sticker on it to help them know even more that it's a big day. Kind of draw attention to that. On the monthly calendar, I usually only write big events, not every little thing or things that happen weekly. I will write those up here, and I fill this part out when I do my weekly reset on Sundays. But we do have a couple of other things coming up. We have a dentist appointment here. And for things like that, they have these cute little dentist or medical stickers with the little tooth that is cute to use for that. So let me put that here. Charlotte also has an ortho on this date on the 24th at 2:30. So we're going to try and squeeze that one in there as well. I don't really like the little half boxes, but I don't see a way around it. So I'll have to hopefully try and remember that that's all happening on that one day. But really, other than the start of school for the kids, there's not a ton going on this month. And that is how I do my Joe. Here's a look at my Luna, how it's coming for the month of July. My Luna is the planner that I use for my everyday, everything, my personal planner. And I've made some different iterations of it since I first started using it in June. And this month I did a couple of other little different things, and I have decided even more, a few things. I am not seeing this because it's behind the daily, and so I am not seeing this habit tracker, and I'm not using it. The other thing I was having trouble with is I have a health tracker that I had been keeping in a separate small scout, and I just wasn't keeping up with it. I really needed it in my main planner. So this month I tried making it out of, I took a checklist page from that small scout in the back and did this health tracker here and just folded it in. So I've been doing a better job of keeping up with it, but it's not very sturdy now that I've cut all those little snipped things. And so I just did not really wanting it. So for next month, I am going to try something different for that. I printed out a little tracker that's the same, about the same box sizes as that other one on some sticker paper, and then just cut it out around the edges. And I'm going to put it here because then I get a lot more tracking than just these few lines, and hopefully then it'll free up this other space as well instead of trying to put in that other little scout tracker. So that's the plan for right now, and then I'll give it a month and see how it works out. But let's go ahead and start with a little bit of decorating, and then we'll get into the actual planning of the month. The Luna does not have its own separate banner pack. However, it is the same size for the headers as the Scout Large Planner. And so that's what banner stickers I'm using here is the Large Scout for these main headers. And it fits just perfectly if you get it on straight. There we go. Okay. Didn't get it on 100% straight, but that's okay. The only big thing though is that these days of the week, they are written out for the Scout because you know it goes across 2. And so it does not fit there. So what I do instead is I take the extra little stickers I had from the rose planner that I was using, and then I just trim them like this. And once you've just kind of trimmed them, I need to make sure I start with Monday. And let me get this a little bit flatter here. I'm going to just line that M up right like that. And then I just snip this little bit right there and go down the line and fill your headers in. I like how that turned out. Now let's divide the weekends from the rest of the month. And I like to do that with this skinny little washi or sticker that comes with the pack. It's always the bottom two. And I'll use the extra for some of the weeks here. Okay, that is done. I'm going to go ahead and put on that big sticker here that I printed out. I just printed it on my home printer on full page sticker paper and then used a paper cutter to cut the edges around it. The hardest part is getting the backing off. Actually, I think the hardest part is going to be getting it on here straight and square. But we can do it. And I want to put something right here. I think I want the blue tape. Yes, that looks very nice. I intentionally left it the right size to put a little sticker here to divide the monthly calendar from this tracker. Although I don't know, those lines with all those lines, next time I think I would put a different, but that's okay. You live and you learn. Now let's decorate this side page here. I love this big dashboard space in the Luna. That's really the reason that I got this planner, is for this page, and because I had been using the Christie, which I still absolutely love, but it just didn't have the dashboard space in it, although now it does. So I might have to sometime relook at that, but I do like being able to see the dashboard at the same time as the weekly things. So I don't know, I'll think about it for the next year. And I like being able to add some extra things. I've already started thinking about my plans for next year and what I'm going to do as far as my planner lineup. Let's do a little bit of this one from this banner set here. I like to have a little spot for my monthly list for my goals and to-dos. Oops, if it goes straight. And I'll use a little of this. I'm going to put my retro here this month, and then I think my brain drop over here on this page. And the other thing that I'm going to be doing this month is I'm really supposed to be focusing on routines and making sure I'm kind of doing the same thing, like getting up at the same time, eating at the same time, that type of thing, per my doctor's instructions. And I'm going to, instead of exactly time blocking, I'm going to just have my schedule. You can see it on this month. I just put it on, it's on a Post-it that I had cut something else out and put it on there. So I'll just move that over to here. So that's how big that is. And then every day I want to make sure I'm doing my AM routine, my PM routine, And I don't want to just have it as a check mark on this, like, did I do my morning routine or evening routine? Because that's so much yes or no. And do you mark yes if you missed one thing, or no, you know? And so this I can kind of see exactly where in my routines I am not being able to keep up with. So I made a whole bunch of those where I just took some little paper and cut them out, and I'll just each day kind of use some adhesive to put that on there, and then I can take those out and kind of keep track. So I wanted to have room for that. But then if I have brain dump underneath that, that's fine, because I don't need to see that at all times. But I do want to add some decoration here. So let's get out those beach stickers and really start putting some of them on, because I'm excited. They're just so pretty. I'll have to, and I've got some of these little ones too. But I think for up here, I'm going to put something nice and kind of bold, since, let's see, I want to get that right on the top there. Since I'll be able to see that kind of through there. Perfect. And maybe a small little bird. And some wind. I can get that one off. There we go. There. That's kind of nice. So that'll show up kind of over that. And then I have there. I like to mark kind of where this comes, so if I'm writing something down here, I will have an idea of where it is. So let's just put, this is going to be a good marker for kind of dividing out that section. And let's, for sure, all right, there. I think I like that. All right, here I made my Post-it dashboard. So I need this much space there. Okay, I think I am liking that. I do want to write some of my monthly things from here and then put the little stickers. These little teeny tiny ones make such cute little bullet points. So I'm going to just put a few down. I almost forgot to color my dates. So let me put on those date stickers real quick, and then I'll be back. I think that is all the decorating that needs to be done. So now let's start planning this month out a little bit. As you can see, I have used sticky notes a lot to put in things, and so I'm going to mark here for when I play the piano for church. I also start working this month, and I need to figure out how I wanted to mark these PD days. I think for the ones down here that are 4 in a row, let's see. That's not quite long enough. Let's use this skinny washi for this. And I'm just going to mark it along the bottom Or is that going to be too visually dark? I think that's going to be too visually dark. Okay, this is going to work much better, I think, because it's not going to be quite so bold and in my face as that navy blue was going to be. So those are PD days. These two as well. And this one here. This day there is no school, even though you would think that there would be. So I really want to make sure that that stands out. There we go. All right. And let's put something here for that first day of school. And also this next one is a half day. So mark that on there as well, so that we can keep track of all of that. And then Charlotte also has an orthodontist appointment on this day. So I'm going to try and squeeze that in there. And somebody had a dentist appointment on one of these days on the 19th. Elizabeth has a dentist. I actually am going to use my erasable just in case I have that wrong. Okay. I'm going to leave this here. I'm not sure if my kiddos are going to go to reunion with some other friends from church. So I'm going to leave that on there. Alrighty. Whew. So it's going to fill up fast for the next month. All right, the last thing I want to do is section out my days. Ooh, let's not forget that. Okay. Section out my days. So I like to have a couple of lines at the top for me for appointments or things to remember, and then a line for each of the kids, and then 2 lines at the bottom for the meal plan for the week. I've tried using it on the little meal plan pip, but my problem is that if I don't have it with my daily thing right where I see it, then I don't remember to get out the meat or do what I need to do. And then if I have it up here, it's in my way of seeing other things. And so this has just been what works most consistently for me, is to put it at the bottom a day each week. Okay. So just like that. Then when I do each week's reset, I will take things for my month and put it into my week. Then I'll also write down any appointments. So for example, on that 19th day, I would go ahead and write her dentist appointment and any other things that I need to know about it there. And I also plan out the meal plan when I do my weekly reset. But that is how I do my planning and my decorating in my Luna. If you want to try any of the planners or the banner stickers or stickers that I have used today, please make sure that you use my affiliate link listed down below in the video description and use the code Allison10 for 10% off. Until next time, happy planning. Bye.